Welcome back everybody. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. My name is Jay. This video is yet another in-depth look at our new subclasses launching with Beyond Light on November 10th. Today specifically, we're taking a look at the Titan Behemoth. It was revealed on the 3rd of September, so we've all had about a week or so to really give it a good look and form an opinion on it. Honestly, I like it. A lot of people are saying that it feels too much like Fist of Havoc with ice, but even then, I'm still full mast for it. You won't hear any complaints from me. At this point, I'm just excited to have something new to play around with after the last however many seasons and all of their dullness. Regardless of opinions on the previous seasons, let's go ahead and get into this video. The Titan Behemoth is a frozen vending machine with legs, or 500 pounds of dry ice in the form of a fist. The title card says it all. Behemoths are high offense and high defense, creating solid stasis crystals to provide cover or platforms from which to leap. During their super, Behemoths can jump higher, faster, and further with unlimited melee energy and high damage mitigation. I don't know about you, but I can smell the fear of 1,000 hunters unable to escape a shoulder charge right about now. Let's take a look at some abilities. First up, we have Glacial Quake, the Behemoth's new supercharge. Behemoths compel stasis energy to attach to their body, covering themselves in frozen darkness, forming a stasis gauntlet on one hand, increasing their damage resistance in the process. From what we know of Glacial Quake as of right now, this is looking painfully similar to other supercharges. In a nutshell, Glacial Quake is essentially just Fist of Havoc, but cold. Or at the very least, that's just how it looks right now. That would be a teeny bit of a letdown, but the other abilities have the potential to make up for it. As Bungie said in their reveal, if frozen enemies are the bowling pins, think of the Titan Behemoth during their Glacial Quake super as the bowling ball, able to instantly shatter enemies as they sprint or slide through them. Running amok in a crowd of bad guys and shattering them like a perfect 10-pin strike is a fine strategy. They said more, but honestly, I just don't really feel like reading it because it was a bunch of word vomit about, cancel this ability, slide there, jump here. I did not feel like reading it. It'll likely make more sense if I can actually see it in action. So that's gonna be straight dumb, and I already love it. Let me know in the comments what you think about Glacial Quake. Too strong? Looks a little dumb? I've got some ideas for future videos that will 100% be influenced by those comments left on this video. Next up, we have Ground Control. The player gains this ability while they are actively supercharging. You can see it in the clip that's looping on screen right now. The Behemoth slams their gauntlet into the ground, sending out tremors of powerful stasis energy that leave crystals in their wake and freeze all enemies in the vicinity. Next up, we've got a brand new melee attack called Shiver Strike, something I'm sure all of you shoulder charge fans will have a hard-on for. The ability card for Shiver Strike reads as follows. The Behemoth summons a stasis gauntlet and lunges forward with explosive speed, smashing through anything in their way. Upon reaching their target, they unleash a devastating jab that sends their foe careening backwards while slowing nearby enemies. So that's great. We've got another shoulder charge that will probably be just as broken as all of the others, and Fist of Havoc 2.0. I can't wait to get slapped in the mouth by it, and I'm already excited to play around with it and see just what it can do. This is the subclass screen for the Titan Behemoth. From the left to the right, you can see both familiar abilities and a few new ones as well. We've got our Barricade, we've got our Mobility Command, we've got Shiver Strike, and lastly, we've got an as-of-yet undisclosed grenade ability that Bungie seemingly just doesn't really want to talk about yet for whatever reason. Kind of a boner killer, to be honest. Based on the icon for that grenade in specific, I'm going to take a stab here and say that when it detonates, it does something like summon a collection of giant ice crystals to rise from the ground. Not necessarily in the same way that the Hunter Revenant's grenade can create ice walls, but similar. Hopefully, we'll learn more in the coming weeks. All of these new subclasses can equip both aspects and fragments. The Behemoth is no different. As an example aspect, we've got Tectonic Harvest, which slots for 2 fragment points. The flavor text for the item card sounds really cool too. A Petrified Grip, grasping for something once held but now lost. Your hands create power from nothing. You can see down at the bottom of the card what the ability does for the player. Shattering a stasis crystal creates a stasis shard. This shard grants melee energy when picked up by the player or allies. Aspects have the potential to change the way that we build our characters in the grand scheme of things, presenting new opportunities in combat and abilities /and/or stat lines that we can't even yet fathom. I think the Titan Behemoth is going to have a very strong start, what with the stasis shards and an emphasis on both offense and defense. I like where this is headed. I see a lot of cool build ideas coming out of this. Lastly, in the Fragments section, we can see yet another unique ability. It's called Whisper of Durance. I think that's how you say it, I'm honestly not sure, and it's something I think a lot of players will be using early on at the launch of Beyond Light. The ability card for Whisper of Durance reads as follows: slow from your abilities lasts longer. For those abilities that linger, their duration will also increase. This fragment can be slotted at the cost of 10 resilience, and it offers an additional 10 strength in return. Again, this is the type of stuff that we need to be seeing right about now. The emphasis on player customization is exactly where Destiny needs to be heading. These fragments function a lot like some of the seasonal mods we've been getting since Shadowkeep launched, specifically the ones that raise a player's stat tier in exchange for a decrease in another. This is what build crafting is all about: min-maxing, creating the perfect death machine for you on a personal level. That's literally the entire point. I really like what I've seen out of all of this so far. I'm not exactly the biggest fan of abilities that feel slightly rehashed, but I am interested to see how Stasis changes the way that we handle combat encounters in raid instances and high-level nightfalls or ordeals. As of right now, the game relies strictly on DPS, and the most effective way to go about beating anything that's considered to be endgame is to push that number as high as you possibly can. Having more support abilities should be a game changer in theory, and while I am still slightly confused as to how all of this is going to work, I do see the Behemoth as a valuable asset to a fire team after Beyond Light launches. Unfortunately, this is all the information that we have at the moment. As I said earlier, hopefully we'll have more information in the coming weeks. Coming up next before the end of the week is the Hunter Revenant. Not only is it my favorite class in the game, but it's also shaping up to have some of the coolest new abilities in Destiny 2, in my opinion at least. But that about wraps up this tiny little reveal video. As I said earlier, there will be another video in the following week. You know the drill. The Boy of Jays is out.